Hey all, okay, last video, this is Tuesday's lesson. Again, I was going to give, or we were supposed to discuss the essay, the questions you created for the essay, on the essay exam question creator. Again, maybe I didn't say it in the last one, but for those, use verbs from the key verb list. Like, that's the point, that's the connection you're making. So today it's a 6-step strategy to writing an essay, or an essay response for an essay exam question. Papers or files you'll need. On Canvas there will be writing an essay response, 6-step strategy, a handout, and then, yeah, actually let's get to the homework right now. So your homework, it looks like a lot, it's really not. So memorize the 6 steps and the key verbs for the quiz. It's just going to be a short quiz, so don't worry about it. Don't take a ton of time memorizing the key verbs. At least be familiar with the definitions. And memorize the 6 steps. They should be, by the time you do the activity, they should be pretty ingrained in your mind. And you might already do them. You might have been taught them already, or you might just do them naturally. So you're going to apply the 6 steps to some nod block questions that I will post on Canvas. That'll be on Canvas again. As far as your group work goes, you're working on your group presentations. I'd like you to meet again today, or you could possibly get this done if you watch the video ahead of time, which I think I'm going to post them just all at once. If you watch the video ahead of time, you can just do a big session Monday. I don't care when you meet, but as long as you get it done. Remember, they start Friday. So work on that. You are going to create a study guide for your article. Again, you only need one for the group. Kind of taking your key terms and concepts and organizing them into a format that someone could take and study, because you're going to be sharing them. So yeah, you're going to, each of you will have a study guide from that group for the final essay exam. Again, for the presentations, maybe I didn't mention this, but that's the only time that we're covering those articles. So make sure that you're doing a thorough job with them, because you are teaching the article to the class. So yeah, do a good job. Kind of following the format that I've been doing. Key terms, concepts, maybe I'll send the assignment sheet out, but a PowerPoint and then some discussion. That's what I'd like. So remember this is the Tuesday video. All you have to do Wednesday is, again, work with your groups and study for the in-class essay exam. I would go over knob block and Yagelski again, maybe get with someone and discuss it, which, I don't know. And it is an open note exam in the sense that you'll have the annotated articles with you, so you can bring your articles that you've annotated to class. If they are digital, please print them out, because I don't want you on computers during the exam. So if they are digital, please print them out, and I'll post all this on Canvas, all this information. Cool. So we're going to apply these 6 steps to a practice question using nod block. So you have the 6 steps in front of you, or you should, or pulled up in the window side by side, or another tab, whatever you have. But the 6 steps are: 1, read the question carefully. It's pretty important. Locate the keywords by asking yourself, what am I being asked to do, and with what body of material? So again, that key verb, what am I asked to do, and the body of material, so the actual stuff in the question. Okay. And then number 3, rewrite the question into an assertion by employing as much of the question's language as possible. So rearranging it into a question, we will do that. And then sketching an outline of key topics. So before you jump into writing a response, maybe jot down on a scratch piece of paper, hey, this is what I know. I'm going to make an outline real quick before I attack the question. And then writing your essay, pace yourself within time constraints. And if time allows, always proofread it. Cool. So the first step is to read the question carefully. So let's look at the question. It's a little lighter, my pen's dying, sorry. Define the 4 different views of literacy discussed by Knobloch. Criticize the view you most strongly agree with using examples. Okay. Key verbs. We're looking at define. Discussed isn't asking us to do anything, so it's important, but it's not important to us. And then criticize. Okay? And criticize if you look at, I mean, you'll know by now, but looking at your key verbs list, at least for practice, criticize, analyzing, and judging, finding the strengths and weaknesses. I talked about that in the Knobloch video. So finding the strengths and weaknesses, not criticizing, like not tearing down, like verbally abusing or anything like your parents might yell at you or whatever, or a coach for those of you that play sports. But analyzing and judging. Okay, so first we're going to define the 4 different views of literacy discussed by Knobloch. Cool. Let's get back to my 6 steps. Hold on. Okay, locate keywords, did that. What am I being asked to do? I'm being asked to define and criticize. And what am I being asked to do that to? I'm being asked to define the 4 different views of literacy as discussed by Knobloch. So we know it's by Knobloch. And that's where that other verb comes in, discuss. And then I'm going to criticize the one view, one of Knobloch's views. I'll write that to myself. One of Knobloch's views that I most strongly agree with, using examples. So I am going to analyze and judge, find the strengths and weaknesses of the view that I most strongly agree with. And remember, you don't necessarily have to agree with any of them, just the one that you most strongly agree with, or the one that you least disagree with. Yeah, I think that. Least disagree with, there we go. So, yeah, now I've got that done. I'm going to rewrite the question into an assertion. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm going to say, well, if I were to do this on a scratch piece of paper, I would say the 4 different views of literacy as discussed by Knobloch, are of course functional, cultural, personal growth, and critical. That's getting late. Functional, cultural, personal growth, and critical. Wow. Yeah, and then I'm going to rewrite this into an assertion. So an assertion is just a statement. You're asserting something. Yeah, it's just a statement. So the view I would say the view I most strongly agree with is, cool, easy. So we changed, define the 4 different views of literacy discussed by Knobloch to the 4 different views of literacy discussed by Knobloch are, so we changed it into an assertion. And then the second one, criticize the view you most strongly agree with using examples, 2-part question. The view I most strongly agree with is whatever, whichever one you choose. Cool. Then I'm going to sketch an outline of the key topics. So first I'm going to look at, okay, I'm defining the 4 different views of literacy. So I know, let's see, I don't know what it is. Let's say Knobloch, literacy, / literacy. I have functional. I have, again, cultural. I have personal growth. And I have critical. Okay, now I'm going to be looking at, or I'll start to make an outline. I'll say functional, okay. Can operate day to day. I'm going to jot down things I know about it. Day to day, but not question. They can't question. No, they can't question. Just the functional literacy doesn't really create the environment where the individual's able to question. Remember, they can shoot the missile, learn how to fire the missile, but can't question why they're shooting it or why they're firing it. Can operate day to day, but not question. And then I'm going to say continue status quo. Keep things as is. Okay. Cultural, I'm going to say what I know about it, just jotting down real briefly. um, one one culture is taught, one culture taught. I'm gonna include the Western canon when I talk about it. I'm gonna talk about again, status quo. Cool. So I've got that down. Multiple. I'm gonna also write other cultures are threat, or the teaching of other cultures is a threat. Personal growth literacy. I'm gonna say expressionism, individuality. I'm gonna say choice. Not really a threat to any structures. Not really a threat to economic and political structures. So it's allowed. Again, not really a threat to economic and political structures, so it's allowed. Okay, and then critical, I'm going to say challenging authority. Challenging authority or the status quo. Just questioning. And it's kind of feared. Remember that oppositional culture. Good, cool. So now I've defined all of them there. That's my definition for all 4 views of literacy discussed by non-law. That's just my outline. So I'm going to take that and use it as the foundation for my my sentences and my response. And then I'm going to criticize the view I most strongly agree with using examples. I'm not actually. Let's say I most strongly agree with, let's say, functional literacy. I don't strongly agree with functional. No, let's say I choose cultural literacy. I'm going to identify the strengths and weaknesses. So, let's see what the strengths are. You know what? Nope. Oh, personal growth. Personal growth, there we go. So strengths, I'll write down strengths. It allows individuality. That can be a good thing. Sure. Allows individuality. It limits conformity. How's that? And so on and so forth. Its weaknesses. Its weaknesses are that there's no chance for social change, really. If you wanted to identify that as a weakness. And let's see what else. No chance for social change, and I don't know what else. Cause individuality, limits conformity, no chance for social change. Another weakness is that it's hard to standardize curriculum. Good. So just briefly, that took, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, I don't know the actual time. But that took maybe 5 minutes, and now I've got an outline for both parts of the question. Part 1, I've got my outline for defining all 4 different views of literacy, and I've got my outline for the second part where I criticize the view I most strongly agree with. Cool? I've already turned it into an assertion. Now all I've got to do is write my response. Remember to pace yourself within time constraints. We're going to talk about time management strategies, but a lot of you came up with just really good ones when we talked about dream and dream and nightmare exams. So that's about it. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Apply the 6 steps to the non-block questions. And that'll be an assignment on Canvas. Remember the papers for this, or the handouts for this. Writing an essay response to 6-step strategy. Other homework, memorize 6 steps and the key verbs for the quiz. Again, the 6 steps, read the question carefully. Locate keywords by asking yourself, what am I being asked to do and with what body of material? So the verb and the body of material. Rewrite the question into an assertion. Using as much of the question's language as possible. Sketch an outline, which we've done, or I've done. Then write your essay, and then proofread your essay. Okay, so those are the 6 steps. Memorize those. Create a study guide for your article with your group. One for the group's fine. Study for the practice exam, which will not be Wednesday. It will be Thursday. I'll be back Wednesday afternoon. So tomorrow, really, it's just time to work with your group and yeah, work with your group and study for the exam. Review, Malblock, and Migalski. Remember, open note exam in the sense that you have annotated articles. Print those off if you have them in a digital copy. Other than that, if you have any questions, email me. I'm going to post everything on Canvas either tonight or tomorrow afternoon, Saturday. So, yeah, we should be good. Be well.